Hello and welcome back to the Beaglington Review, and in this episode we'll be looking at this. It's a box from Sam's Trains containing two Era 1 converter wagons, which I'm going to go assemble and test out on the railway. So let's go over to the desk and have a look. Yes, hello and welcome to the Beaglington Review, and this time we have another Sam's Trains package from my Sam's Trains trunk, as it were. There's a few different wagons in here, so it looks like somebody has tried to get into the package as well on voyage. It's got a bit of a dent, so hopefully everything's alright, but these are normally very well packed. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 wagon kits in here. These are 3D printed by Sam's Trains in his house, in his loft, and they are things that I'm going to be looking at. Today I'm going to be looking at the Era 1 converter wagons, which are these ones, I think. So these can stay in the box. So I'm going to open these up now. So I'll get my craft knife out of the drawer, and we'll just aim the camera down a bit more and refocus. And so of course it's on Project Aldwin for some reason. It's nice and sunny outside, but the sun's not actually on either window. So these are the Sam's Trains Era 1 converter wagons, and I actually was advocating for these when he was taking suggestions for the next member's wagon. And as you can see, it is tiny. So I'll just go grab the blue rocket coach that I have, which is what I want to use these for. Which is here. So this is the blue rocket coach, and I mean, it just completely dwarfs this little coal wagon. And this is based on a replica built at Derby Works for the Liverpool-Manchester Centenary. And this is based on, I think, drawings or pictures of actual sort of wagons or whatever, or maybe it's not, I can't remember exactly. But either way, it's an interesting wagon. It's Era 1 style. It comes in this 3D printed brown plastic. There you go, I'll just zoom in. And the most interesting thing about this wagon is that it is a converter wagon. So I'll actually move the camera and we'll get an even better shot of what it looks like. So yes, this is the Sam's Trains 3D printed Era 1 wagon, as I've said. It's got metal wheels, spoked wheels. You can see the two sort of hoppers are screwed to the chassis, and this is a brand new chassis design from Sam's Trains. And I was asking for him to design something like this because I have this, which doesn't really couple to anything, because I can't afford an Era 1 locomotive, which are very expensive, and you can only get them in packs, you can't get them individually. So this wagon will allow you to couple up to these, and then at the other end you'll be able to couple to your sort of modern tension lock style locomotives. And somewhere here I have, so this is an accessory pack that comes with it, and there are 8 different coal load styles, so you probably won't end up with 2 of the same. And basically you've got these coal loads which fit in, and you could add weight underneath if you wanted to, but these are very nice. They're very subtle little coal loads that just sort of fit in, and yeah, they look pretty good. And you know, it's obviously it's sorry, Spushbus is just attacking the goods shed. So yeah, obviously it's not going to be anywhere near as detailed as this. It's more sort of a you know, a homegrown idea, but you know, it's still a very impressive little piece of model engineering. And you have these normal sort of hoop couplings that Sam's Trains has designed. It's a bar, and it just hooks onto this tall thing like that, see? And then that gives you a chance when coupling if things are a different height. And that just hooks on to there, which is at a different height. And we'll just get that back again. It'll be interesting to see how this copes on the model railway. But it will probably be good for between the other converter wagon that I have. They'll sit at the same sort of height. But you can also take that off and use the Hornby chain, which are very fiddly but still quite nice. So I'll hook that onto that one first with a bit of difficulty. I lose my coal load. And then hook that onto there like that. This is very fiddly. Imagine trying to do this with a rake of them on the railway. It's quite a challenge. But there we go. That's working pretty good. So that's one element of it. And if I just put that down there, what? Oh, he's finally on the window. That's Smugpuss. Some sort of stringiness on there. I don't know if it's a hair or whatever, but I think it's just a bit of plastic. I'm not sure. Anyways, so they're coupled up with that, and then we have the other Era 1 wagon. There we go. And we don't need to put a load in that one. We'll couple that up with this bar in a minute. And then somewhere I have the detail pack. I had a tension lock coupling somewhere. Whoops. So yeah, so basically what you can do is you can pull out this coupling on one of these if you have nails, which I barely do, but that's out there, and you can see it's got the Sam's Trains NEM socket, and you just pop the Sam's Trains NEM coupling in there like that, and then you've got the rocket coach on there, and you've got the other hoop on there, and obviously if you buy more than one, you'll end up with duplicates of the wagon couplings, so you can use them in multiple. There we go. I know they are very widely spaced, but you know, it might have been like that in the olden times, and it will allow you to use it on very tight radiuses as well, which is quite good if you've got a very small layout or a small like shunting Era 1 dockyard area or colliery or something. But yeah, they are absolutely tiny. They're smaller than the shortest coaches that I have. And so I'm going to go take these now, and I'll find the other coal loads, I suppose, and we'll put it on the railway behind the retro pug, and we'll do a bit of shunting, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so before we try a bit of shunting, we're going to do the free rolling test. So I'll start on the outside line, and these I've got to be really careful I don't throw these off the line like I did with the Hatton's Genesis coach or whatever it was. I mean, that's gone off to the wide yonder over there. So we'll try it on the second radius. I mean, it should have no problem. Oh no! Oh no, there's been an accident. Oh well, let's do it without the coal loads in. It's easy to put your fingers in there. Okay, that's so impressive that it made it all the way around to there. So I don't even think I'm going to need to do it on first radius, but let's give it a quick go. Ready? Oh, no, it's very, very light, which is good because the pulling power of the Era 1 locomotives is not brilliant, apparently, because they don't have much weight. So we're now going to do that test round the back. Right, so here we are behind the layout, ready to do the test. I've got the retro pug here, and it's going to couple up to this Sam's Trains wagon here with a tension lock. I'll leave that one uncoupled actually at the back. We'll do test it with one and then test it with another. So backwards, stays coupled. Forwards, stays coupled. And we go straight backwards first. No issue there. And then forwards. And now the running quality of my pug isn't brilliant, so this stuff staying here is pretty good considering the bounciness of the pug. So we're going to take this back and we're going to couple up the pegs. And so the chain here is, I'll just focus in on it so you can see a bit better, because I don't know if I showed it necessarily well enough at the desk, but it looks kind of like a chain and there's the odd hole in it. I have found that that end of the hoop is kind of brittle because it's 3D printed plastic, and one of them has already broken. And it would be handy if you could get replacement packs of these, because you can't, as far as I'm aware, get them for the Hornby one. But then I haven't really looked because I haven't lost mine. I did for a bit, but I found them again. They have a tendency to ping off. But we can now couple up the other wagon to this one. which should be easy enough. Bit annoying that I've taken it off the layout to do it just to make sure I get it on. But the couplings themselves are quite good because they're nice and tall, and that's good. I mean, it's out of focus, but it's good if you've got a bumpy layout because it should keep it from going all the way off the top. Whereas the Hornby one, when things kind of bump into each other and stuff, the thing goes boing off. So there we go, coupled up, and away they go. Right, try and get this at an alright pace without causing any accidents. Now just borrow the Peckett a second and check what it's like with the modern tension lock. There may be issues here because the couplings might be a different height, and that could be an issue going round the first radius in and out of here. I imagine what's going to happen is I'm going to drive it backwards and the Hornby coupling hook is going to disengage and knock them off. No, well, that's a relief. We'll try it a bit faster and see. Because that's what normally happens with stuff on this corner because it's first radius. Well, that's alright with an 040. Let's try it with an 060. Give them a go with Merton. Another antique looking locomotive. They wouldn't look too out of place behind Merton. Right, I'm not sure what happened there, but I think it was the same issue that I was talking about. And I bet if I reverse this now, yeah, it's just the hook comes out and then once it gets to the second curve, it just pushes it out. So that's to do with the difference in coupling height. And then if I show you now close up the detail, there are lovely strapping bands with rivets on, and I'm thinking if I paint these dark brown and then I can paint the strapping black, and it should hopefully show up that detail. There's no sprung buffers on these, but that's because they've got sort of gum buffers made from the ends of the frames, and it's got its spoked wheels and its screwed on chassis, and they look relatively good. Well, I say relatively good, I think they look really good, but they look even better when I get round to painting them. Because you can paint them, or you can leave them as they are, I suppose. But I always find it's nice to have a bit of personalisation on these 3D printed ones, because you know they're sort of like a kit. These ones are pretty much all assembled, but other wagons have been sort of kits you attach to the brake rodding and stuff. So now I'm going to try and make a little train with these, and I'm going to use the Peckett, I think, because that will be smoother. Because I don't want to mess up this just by having my clunky old retro pug knocking everything off the rails. So first of all, we'll go and couple that up there like that, and see that it goes around my layout fine. Yes, they do look very industrial. Good morning, Smushpuss. You're just sitting in the village green, are you? Watching the trains go by? Right, we'll just park the Peckett there, and we'll take one of these couplings and we'll see if the Sam's Trains coupling now can work with the Hornby rolling stock, because that's what it's intended to do. So we'll try it first with the Sam's Trains coupling, and then we'll try it with the Hornby coupling and see whether they're actually cross-compatible. There we go, slowly forwards, still coupled, and then slowly backwards. No issues there. I have a feeling if I do the points test with it though, the Hornby thing is going to derail or uncouple, or both. So I'll just put the camera there and we'll give it a go. And I'm going to change to using the HM2000 for this because it might also be a bit smoother. So we go, change that there. Right. There we go. That's a bit less jerky now. And we casually just go slowly backwards in. But that's the Sam's Trains coupling. That's good because I was talking about the Hornby one pinging off. These can't. Well, they can't. They could probably ping off with the Hornby because of the short peg to hold it there, which I think is a bad design because it's so small. It's so easy for the coupling hooks to come off. But this is really good actually. I'm impressed with that. So now let's see what happens when we swap that out for the Hornby coupling. So we go and put that on there. Oh, we worded the Hornby coupling wasn't so fiddly. There you go. Now, and that there. So this is a test with the Hornby coupling. Well, that I would say is a pretty good demonstration of the converter's performance, which is, you know, it's pretty good. So how can I make this even more of a train? I could try and attach a brake van. I'm not sure how I'll do it. I did have the Sam's Trains coupling pocket that I took out when I put in the tension lock, placed into my LSWR brake van. But it didn't work because the buffers were too long and they kept locking with the Hornby coach there. So I mean, I suppose there is something I could try, which is take the coupling out the back of the Beckett. And so here I'm essentially making it Era 1 compatible using the coupling straight into the locomotive. Or I would do if I could get my fingers to work and couple it up. Come on. Because these are NEM compatible. Now, the problem here is also that there is a hook on the back of the Beckett already, which may or may not work with some different Era 1 couplings, I'm not sure. But what I can do now is turn this whole train around. And so now we'll see what it's like with the coaches pulling the trucks. And then I can attach a brake van to the end of those with their tension lock coupler, which is a pretty nifty way of doing it. So we've got a Hornby coupling there on that peg, and we'll put the Sam's Trains coupling on the other end. And I should have put that on the Beckett because it's got the peg that doesn't drop off the coupling every 5 seconds. Come on, chain. It's quite handy as well because the Beckett has the kind of NEM pocket that has a screw on it that sort of moves around. So we're now getting this Sam's Trains converted Beckett. And hopefully the buffers won't lock as it goes around the first radius. If it does, I can try it on the second radius anyways. So just put that coupling back into the LSWR brake van. There we go. So we'll pop that on there, and hopefully away we go. I have to say that is a marvellous sight as the vintage train goes through Beaglington. Just imagine how impressive a train of these would look going round. I suppose I have to try and track down a closed passenger coach and then some sort of brake van that actually would go with it, and then I'll have a proper vintage train. So I'm just going to stop the packet now, and then I'm going to move it onto the middle line and run it behind Merton for a minute. So before I put them on the other line and with Merton, I'm going to test this through the points and see whether it will go, but it might be a bit of a challenge because of the buffers. So I'm going to roll that forward, and then I'm going to set it in reverse, and I'm going to try and film close up and see. No, that seems to have worked quite well until I crashed it into the retro pub. So now we have Merton coupled up with the Sam's Trains converter coupling and coupling bar chain, coupling to the Hornby, and then the Hornby chain to the Sam's Trains converter wagons, and then the Sam's Trains tension lock to the Hornby tension lock on the brake van. So it's a real mix of stuff really, and like I said with the packet, it looks fantastic really. So I'm going to get this footage of it running, and then I suppose I'll do my conclusion. So whatever issue the Hornby Rocket coach was having there, no trouble with just these wagons. I know, Smush Bus. And that's just with that's with the Sam's Trains coupling in the pocket of the NEM on Merton as well, and the Sam's Trains bar. So, Smuggler's, what do you think about the new Sam's Train 01 converter wagons? What do you think? Good? The face of indifference. Right, I suppose I better tell you what I make of them. Yes, that's the Sam's Trains Era 1 converter wagons. What can I say about them? Well, I think they're lovely little models. They've got their coal loads, they've got the ingenious coupling system that allows you to swap in and out tension locks for Era 1 couplings that are better designed than Hornby's because the couplings don't instantly pop off. So that's a plus. The only criticism I really have is that one of the couplings had its hoop break, and I don't know if that's because it's so thin, the plastic. Maybe that one just had like an extra thin spot where the plastic hadn't properly formed, the right thickness. But there's not a lot you can do about that. So I've still got enough couplings that I can couple them up anyways. It'd be really handy actually if you could get more of these NEM couplings and chains, because then you could retrofit things to run with your Era 1 stuff, as well as like having wagons. You could take like any sort of NEM thing. You could do the children's have NEM pockets for their chain things? Could you fit one of these to it? That would be interesting. And then you've got like the tension lock coupling, obviously, for coupling up to everything else. And as I did with Merton and the Peckett, I actually put the Sandstrain's NEM peg thing into their coupling socket, so that worked quite well. So looking forward to getting these painted up and looking nice for the railway. So would I recommend buying one if they're still available? Because these were members exclusive releases, but they may be available in future. So I would buy more if I had the funds to do it, if I wasn't looking at the next project or whatever, because then a nice rake of these would look really good. They're small. If you've got an Era 1 railway, it's nice to have a bigger variety of stock and not just the Hornby stuff where a lot of them share the same chassis. This has its own chassis printed for it, specific to this wagon, which is probably more prototypical than some of the Hornby stuff. So yeah, they're just great little models as usual. I know in my reviews I tend to be overly positive about things. Maybe it's just I don't tend to buy things that don't have that many problems, because you know, and it is easy to pick holes, but I think these are great. And like I said, the only criticism is that one of the coupling things is not perfect because it's broken. But never mind. So take what conclusions you will from that. But I'm very happy with them. And I'll show you in Beaglington-On-Sea eventually when I get them painted up and looking nice. And I really just need to make sure the retro pug isn't so bouncy, because it loves to throw things about, being an old pocket rocket itself. So yes, that's the Sandstrain's Era 1 converter wagon. I suppose I could go make another train up of these now. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for tuning into the Beaglington review. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks to everyone who has watched these videos and subscribed and who comments. I hope the information was useful. I do try to be as objective as possible. But mainly it's just about me having fun looking at new stuff. So until next time, thank you very much. And don't forget there's also the subscribe bubble and the playlist thing. And I'll see you next time. So from me and Smut Puss on the Village Green, goodbye.